Welcome back to another episode of Suds and Cinema. My name's Kyle.
I'm Jacob.
I'm Josh.
This is episode 94, and today we are reviewing Spider-Man No Way Home, plus some other stuff we have been watching, possibly some more 2021 movies, as, well, I'm at least cramming for the top 10. I don't know about you guys. And that's about it.
I have only watched 2021 movies.
Well, that's good to hear. How you guys doing? What's new?
So we just talked about this.
Well, tell the people.
I was in Traverse City. It was my first time actually spending time in the city, though. Last time I went, I was kind of all over the area, Leland and all that. So it was like only the city this time. It's pretty nice. I don't know if it's really worth the trip. Like
in the winter.
Yeah.
It's fucking dead of winter right now.
Yeah.
Traverse City in the summer is
Lit.
awesome.
Yeah.
You can go kayaking, and like there's a bunch of breweries like along the river.
Yeah, I did hear about it. It's like a biking kayak trail thing, isn't it?
I don't know if there's a bike path, but
I thought you do like kayak and then bike and then kayak. It's like
no, you start like way away, and you have to kayak across the lake, and then it gets you into a channel, and then or a river, and then you do that, and then you actually have to carry your kayak, like portage it from one spot to and re-enter it, and then you can go again.
Well, if you're a super film nerd, also, that's one of the largest film festivals, if not the largest film festival in Michigan, is in Traverse City. So.
Yeah, they had on their theater there, it said Traverse City Film Festival coming back soon. Or
We gotta go.
And they were playing
should try
the Tragedy of Macbeth.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
Yeah, in the winter it's cold.
Should have went. That way we don't have to. You don't have to
but
watch
it's on Apple.
Yeah, but you could have went and watched it in theater.
But then I'm paying for something I'm already paying for.
Yeah, but it's theater.
I use Apple TV like once a year.
If everyone thinks the way that you do.
Do they only have one screen? What else were they playing?
I don't know. I didn't look.
Could have seen Red Rocket.
They weren't playing. That I would have remembered.
Damn. Well, anyway.
Yeah, so Traverse nice. It's nice in the winter, but really cold. And if you like drinking and breweries, you will never run out. There are so many, and within such a small distance from each other. Probably because there's nothing else to do in the area. So
did you go to Sutton's Bay at all? You should have went to Hop Lot.
No, I went to Sleeping Bear Dunes.
I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
But Hop
hiked
Lot's
this
like
super freezing trail all the way to Lake Michigan, and it looked like an alien planet because it was. You never see. I don't know if I ever really see sand and snow together. So
I don't know if I have either.
Yeah, it was weird. Like you step in and sink in, it looks like cake layers because it's like sand, snow, sand. Snow,
I saw
snow.
like on Instagram or something. Somebody like scooped up. And it looked like
tiramisu.
Like tiramisu.
I saw that.
Did you see it?
Yeah, they're like the forbidden tiramisu.
It did look like it too.
It did. That's kind of how this was, but the snow was on top of the sand.
In the sands, that sand was dark.
Yeah, and it was probably a lot colder here because, whoo,
Tiramisu.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, cool. Nothing new with me. And I assume with you, Josh.
How's your wrist doing?
The left one is good. The one that I fractured. The right one still hurts a lot.
And like that's the sprained one.
Movements like this. The sprained one.
I always heard that like breaking heals easier than spraining.
I asked him, and I was like, he's like, the fractured one is better than the sprained.
Yeah, like I feel like I could do a lot more with this wrist. I don't know about like anything like heavy lifting or anything like that, but
stranger danger.
This, yeah, just like bending it back and forth. Flexion and extension is like bothers me. So
gotta rehab.
It's gonna have arthritis now.
Yeah, it's probably gonna have it before.
We're all turning 30 this year, so
God, fucking kill me.
I was listening to Bo Burnham's 30 song preparation.
It's a new decade.
Can't wait. It's supposed to be the best years of our life. 30s.
A new decade of turn up.
Yeah, followed by the worst years of your life, your 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And you go back.
Love how they put them back to back for you.
Yeah, and then it gets back okay again.
And then you die.
And then you die.
Yeah. Get closer to retirement, then you get to do what you want. All right. Well, let's get into our beer here. This was Josh's pick.
That it was.
So why don't you tell us about it?
Sure. Saw it in the cooler, looked good, grabbed it. This is called.
You mean there's no connection?
How does it
Spider-Man, No Way
connect to
Home?
Spider-Man?
Jacob will figure something out here.
All right, Jacob, you have 60 seconds while Josh talks
While
about
I
it. Go.
talk about it, here we go. So we have Xata from the brewery. I think we featured them.
We
before.
have had the brewery before. Mhm.
So out of California, ABV 7.2%. Long-winded description here, so bear with me.
Take your time.
Horchata is a traditional, sweet, milky drink originating in Spain and Latin America that has become quite popular in Southern California, particularly with Mexican cuisine. Our homage to the traditionally non-alcoholic drink is a blonde ale brewed with a heavy dosing of rice, cinnamon, and vanilla, along with lactose for a little extra creamy character. These ingredients meld together to create a taste and experience that hints at horchata, but it's much more than that. The flavor is hard to describe, but for those who know it, you know you love it.
I love horchata, so I can't wait. But see, it connects.
Here we go. Let's go,
Because
baby.
the style is a blonde ale, right?
Yep.
And then horchata, though, is from, North America also, but blonde ales aren't from North America, right?
I don't know. But keep
I
going.
assume they're not. So blonde ales and horchata are two completely different things, but they're both drinks, right?
Sure.
So since they're both drinks, they're kind of in a similar area, but they're in different dimensions.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, if you put those dimensions together, you get something that
There you
together is new and exciting to try. Just like the universe is colliding in Spider-Man. No Way Home.
And I have a connection to us. We're Mexican, and Kyle's a blonde.
Mhm.
So
Sure.
So
a Mexican drink and a blonde.
this is just it's just perfect for the show.
That's our spin-off podcast, Two Mexicans and a Blonde.
Also the name of the OnlyFans.
Yeah. Sub now.
I'm trying to see what this is. Okay. Anyway, can't find anything.
Did we say ABV and everything?
Yep.
Okay, I wasn't
7.5.
listening.
There's 7.2.
I was trying to think
thinking.
at the time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No IBUs listed.
Ideal serving temp is 45 degrees Fahrenheit. So
Is it 45 degrees?
it feels about 43 at the moment, but
I don't know. That fridge is cold.
Scary Layla.
So I'm
All right.
ready.
Let's do it.
smells like a blonde ale.
Yeah, it smells like kind of like light beer, honestly. Not getting a lot of cinnamon from the smell.
I don't get horchata at all.
Really? I do.
Wait. I guess it's there, but it is weak.
It's probably old. It's super liquor.
Yeah.
But it's going to be at least within the year.
It's in
so.
there. I can get a little bit of the cinnamon, but I was
Yeah.
expecting maybe the stout would go better as not stout, but something heavier.
It would be like a white stout, which is exactly what
That
this would
would-
be classified as.
Oh.
Almost. Similar.
That would be better. It needs more, just more.
Mm-hmm.
It's so light.
Yeah, 7.2. I think you just expect a little bit more flavor than this. It tastes lighter than it is.
I expect it to be really sweet.
Especially coming from the brewery, too.
True.
They're like a
They
very
specialize
good.
in like
Yeah.
pastry stouts and stuff, right?
Yeah, they do. They like just
Just,
overall
I
great
taste
brewery.
a little bit of the cinnamon, but the vanilla is lost.
Really, I taste more vanilla than cinnamon.
I taste all the rice.
Yeah, a lot of yeah. Reminds me of
It's so faint on the back of the tongue.
Well,
It's not bad
We'll have to
tasting.
see what the burp tastes like.
Yeah, it's not bad tasting at all, but it's just kind of not at
Lackluster.
all what I was
Yeah.
expecting. Have you ever had the Monster horchata?
what is it?
The monster. Yeah.
Monster has an horchata drink, and it tastes just like horchata. So that's what I was
not.
expecting this to taste like.
We used to have it at Chalangos, so I drink it all the time.
Yeah, it tastes just like it.
Yum. So
yeah,
good.
it's really good, but that's what I was expecting from this. So I was thrown off, but it's good. I mean,
Yeah.
Now, why is it spelled Orxata?
Yeah, I don't know
when
why
I've
they
always
spelled
I've always seen horchata spelled
Horchata.
Yeah, in Mexico, that's how
Well,
it's
I
spelled.
think
Well,
that
'cause
this
the-
is probably how it technically is
like
spelled,
Aztec or Mayan, one of those, the X makes the ch sound, so
and they probably wrote it horchata to like English
to make it
it.
Spanishify it, probably.
Or yeah,
because
no,
this
because I
isn't
think
Spanish. This is Aztec
Also, what's
or
interesting,
Mayan.
I don't know if this is like Google tailoring its search to me, but when you search Orxata, it only comes up with this beer from the brewery.
Okay, maybe they just
maybe it's
decided
just
to
their- yeah.
do it that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
yeah, that's me too.
All right, well, good, not great.
Good, not great.
If you're horchata snob, I would
this
say
this isn't
you're
it.
probably not gonna like it.
Aficionado.
Yeah, it's drinkable for sure.
Oh yeah.
I guess they do say in the description to create a taste and experience that hints at horchata. It doesn't say that it is.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I guess that's most what most beers go for, right? They're not gonna hit that on the head like that. What do we have? That gingerbread stout didn't really taste much like a gingerbread
Oh,
cookie.
from Big Lake.
Yeah, but it kind of hinted at it.
Yeah,
Similar.
it's like horchata.
Yeah.
That's how it tastes.
It tastes like you're whispering it.
Yeah, it tastes like a whisper.
It's all lowercase.
Yeah.
ASMR.
All right, are you guys ready to get into our featured review?
Yeesh.
All right, we're talking Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man No Way Home is written by Chris McKenna and Eric Sommers. It's directed by John Watts. It stars Tom Holland, Zendaya,
Yep.
Yes.
Benedict
I'm gonna come.
Burbatch, Jacob Batalon, John Favreau, Jamie Foxx, Willem Dafoe, Alfred Merlin, and a bunch of other people. Plot synopsis reads, with Spider-Man's identity now revealed, Peter asks Doctor Strange for help. When a spell goes wrong, dangerous foes from other worlds start to appear, forcing Peter to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. Let's take a listen to a clip.
What is this place?
The mirror dimension, where I'm in control.
Strange, stop! Can we please just talk about this?
Parker, don't you realize that in the multiverse there are an infinite number of people who know Peter Parker is Spider-Man? And if that spell gets loose, they're all coming here.
Look, I know, I get it, but we can't just send them home to die.
It's their fate. You can't change that any more than you can change who they are.
Oh, what are you doing?
All right, what did you guys think of Spider-Man No Way Home?
It was fun. It was very... I liked it. Thank you. Obviously, it's kind of cheap and not in a necessarily bad all the time way, but it's a cheap way. You know you're going to... Like, I wanted to see this simply because we knew what was going to happen. It's not a spoiler at this point, right? Everyone knew
No.
the Spider-Man generations were going to meet each other.
Mm-hmm. Ever
Even when
since
that
the,
they're like, "Oh, should I
leaked-
spoil?" I'm like,
leaked photo
"Yeah."
came
Just-
out,
Yeah,
which was obviously a marketing scheme.
so bad. And then,
Sorry, Leila.
so I wanted to see that. I was going to see it just because I wanted to see that. And I'm sure a lot of people, that
Same
was the
boat.
same case. Yeah. And I hadn't even seen the last Spider-Man, which I have now caught up on that. So
Did you see it after you watched
Before.
this or before?
Before.
Oh, okay.
yeah, I think I forgot to check it in.
Yeah, because it's. I mean, it kind of the plot or what happens.
It
in that
goes
movie
on
heavily
literally right after.
influences- Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like-
like starts right where the other one ends.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, the story, I don't know, it felt when the end happened to me, I don't think it was as big as it felt kind of small. I don't know if that's because Endgame, I think, was kind of one of the last ones I seen, or even the last Spider-Man, the way it ended. Oh no, everyone knows it's him now. That's kind of like a huge thing. And the way this one ended, I just felt, I'm like, I remember watching, I'm like, I feel like it's getting close to the end. I like them getting together was like not that much of a part of it.
I feel like it was like a good.
I guess it was.
45
Yeah, I don't
minutes.
know why. It just didn't feel like they got enough of their time to flesh out, especially for the second Amazing Spider-Man, right? Because I haven't seen those, so I didn't really.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
never
so.
seen either one of them.
Mm-mm.
Which one?
Amazing Spider-Man.
Nope.
Yeah, the Amazing Spider-Mans. You've
The Amazing
the
Spider-Man.
Amazing ones.
Is that the Andy Garfield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen one of them.
I did like the part where he was like, "No, you're amazing." He's like, "Yeah, I'm just not as good as you guys." It's like, "You're amazing."
Say it.
It was so
That's
in there,
embarrassing.
but yeah,
Well, that was because he had
Jim.
the fucking.
because
it
his was the
in
only
his
ones
thing.
that no, it's because he was the Amazing Spider-Man.
I know, but that was the situation from.
Yeah, but it's really just a nod because the first franchise and the newest one has done really well, but his flopped,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the Amazing Spider-Man. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
Say it. You're amazing.
yeah. It was awesome seeing them together. It was awesome seeing Toby back. It just was cool. I don't know. It hits that nostalgia part of your brain.
I was
You're
like,
just
that's my Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's mine. Not this Tom Holland dude.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Great power comes great responsibility.
Oh God. Yeah, I know.
But yeah, other than that, it was, I don't know, some of the things, like the whole situation was created basically kind of like a joke, right? So it kind of kills a lot of the intensity that it's supposed to have, because it was literally, he's like, "Oh, you didn't just ask the college if it was okay first?" And then he like
Yeah.
creates this thing that literally tears time and space apart. Just seems, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say a lot of the scenarios and setup is basically convenient plot conveniences.
Yeah, like it doesn't feel
we have to we have to write the story around
them meeting.
Yeah, exactly. The idea of getting all of these old villains and stuff.
People
together.
really love the Into the Spider-Verse. I want to do that, but at nostalgia bomb, so we know it will do well. And
Yeah.
how can we make a story for that?
Which I kind of
fit?
didn't understand, because I think the first two did so well and they were stood on their own, like just being in the Marvel universe now with Sony, like collaborating with Marvel and having original villains like Vulture and Mysterio, villains that weren't featured before, and now it's just like, I don't know, it kind of goes against all of what they set up, I guess.
Yeah. I also, yeah, it just seemed like a lot of it too was just trying to undo what the last gen Spider-Man did. Just kept making jokes about it so many times. I said the one, the Amazing, or Jamie Foxx, his look.
Yep.
Because he was CG. I know he was CG in the last one. It looked terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And now they just made him with the powers around
And
it.
if you haven't seen the other ones, then like, this probably didn't mean as much to you, but when he points out like somebody points it out to him, like, "Oh, you used to have a gap in your teeth and like you wore glasses before, and now like he doesn't look like that." But there's no explanation to that, like why.
Yeah, I didn't
I did see
understand
that
that.
one. What was that one?
That's the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I didn't.
Okay, so I saw that one.
I did
Yeah.
not get that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
His hair was all weird looking.
Yeah, he had
oh,
just like he just looked like a nerd, because I mean he was like a scientist, and then in this one he just looks like Jamie Foxx, and like they have a line of dialogue to like so that
Explain
way
it.
people aren't like questioning it, but it's not really explained why. They just point it out, and it's like, well, pointing it out doesn't do anything. You're just pointing it out. It's like so much of there's like Matrix Resurrections, like memories flooding back watching some of this stuff. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So I don't know. I loved Defoe and how he just stole it a lot. And it went pretty dark at parts, I guess, to help bring them all together. And it definitely leaves more for what goes on. But I don't know. It literally, other than feeling like a nostalgia bomb and people are just going to like this for like it doesn't feel like it's much of a storyline continuing from what was before. It feels like they went past that really quickly. And in order to make this, they knew would make tons of money, and that's about it. I'm not saying it wasn't enjoyable. It flew by, but there's nothing technically or anything that stands out as special about it. It's just fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I felt like it kind of was like running in place a lot of times. Like there was so much time where it wasn't really doing anything. It's like this is supposed to be like this big epic movie, and like a lot of the action was like pretty lackluster, I guess, for me. Like
I think was that because there's so many bad guys? Like,
I don't know. And
Yeah, probably like a mixture of so many bad guys, and I think the direction too. Like, I feel like Sam Raimi, his direction of the Spider-Man movies and like just how to choreograph action was way better than like anything John Watts has done in these. And I can't remember the first one that much, but
first Spider or
yeah,
like
just Homecoming.
Oh,
I remember
just like
liking
thinking
it.
about the fight choreography and stuff. It seems more, I guess, typical, like run of the mill rather than like anything unique.
right. Yeah. It was just, and like bringing the old people like stuff was kind of like whatever, but it, it's all just fan service. I mean, this is like, I haven't seen any of the Tom Holland ones. I think I've only seen one of the Amazing ones. Obviously I saw the original 3 because they were like the original, like that was like kind of our introduction into the, not necessarily MCU obviously, but into Marvel superhero movies. I think that was one of the first ones that we had for us. So
X-Men and Spider-Man.
It was like, it was always like, always holds that special place in your heart. So that was cool seeing Tobey Maguire back, of course. Why wouldn't it be? And them fighting together was kind of cool, but I don't know. I wanted to see like them 3 do more together because
that's what I'm saying. It felt like there wasn't enough.
I think some of the best scenes were just them like talking to each other, because they all like, I think they all have that Spider-Man like, mentality, or like, jokester. Like they all have their own unique Spider-Man, and like the way that they played off each other was kind of cool. Like it was written to like, kind of cater to Tom Holland, and then it was written to cater to Andy Garfield, and then Tobey Maguire. So they all kind of felt like Spider-Man, but in their own way. And I like how they did that. But yeah, it was just, it was, meh. And I love going to movie theaters, but this is not the movie to go to with a lot of people in it, because people would not shut the fuck up. This dude literally answered a phone call in the middle of the movie. It was like talking, and he wouldn't shut up the whole movie. And his kids were next to him. They were like talking and like moving the entire time.
Even now, when you watched it,
yeah, it was packed like theater.
When I watched it during the week at random times, so there wasn't that many.
Yeah,
people.
I went Thursday. I texted you. It was like Thursday at like 3 or something. Oh yeah, noon.
Because I was getting right in the gym.
Yeah, I literally was like working in close to the theater. I finished my work or whatever. I was like, I might as well just go see this now. And yeah, luckily I only had, I think, 10 other people, maybe
that's how it was.
max.
There was probably
screen,
50 to 75.
Jesus.
Oh no.
Yeah, like I had to sit, like the seat that I had wasn't like a good seat, because obviously we show up because I don't want to watch too many trailers and stuff. So everyone was already seated, and it was like I kind of had to sit off to the side. But
Well, I guess there's a reason it made $1 billion in 12
it's
days.
probably gonna go, make.
I mean, if it's still
1.5
I mean, what is this, the fourth week now?
Yeah, third.
And it's
Third, I
still,
believe.
I mean, at Jackson, Michigan theater has 75 people.
It's gonna be.
I walked in,
It's already in top 5, right? I think.
Of all time.
Yeah.
it's up
I
there.
don't know.
No, for a weekend, it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna last. Just, I mean, the more word gets out, the more it's gonna be seen. So
And
I don't know how much longer.
People are rewatching this thing too. Like, there's a lot of people that are going back.
Yeah, a lot of people think this is the best Marvel movie like ever.
Dude, have you seen the reviews on this? It's like in the IMDb top 250. It's in the Letterboxd top
Really?
200. It's
Yeah,
fucking insane.
It's got a 4.2 letterbox.
Yeah, people are.
That nostalgia hits you hard, doesn't it? 'Cause I don't get, from a critic point of view, what was so special about it.
It's not high. It's not that high.
Oh,
critically.
this is
I mean,
just-
it's around
okay.
70. I want to say on Metascore at least. But yeah, I mean, people just. It's exactly what you said. It's like if you put these things together, then it's going to. It's all fan service. Like,
Yeah,
Which feels nice. But
yeah, and
it's just not deep.
it's the same thing as Endgame. I mean, everything that happens in that movie. I haven't seen it, but it's it's like the ending of an era, and there's a lot of. I'm sure there's a lot of fan service in there. The one most memorable scene of Captain America with Thor's hammer, like people cream their jeans over that, and it's just going to be beloved. And even though a lot of like film lovers say that no, Infinity War is a better movie, people rate Endgame higher just because of that.
But I
those
felt
reasons
that
alone.
was better than this even because it just built up so much over like a decade
I mean, I
of
can't
movies.
speak on it as a film
Yeah.
because I haven't seen it.
Versus this is not built up. It really didn't build up to what happened in this. It was
exactly,
just,
yeah.
oh,
Again,
we
this
need
is
this to happen.
Yeah, right. Everything, these scenarios are built around them wanting to bring in old Spider-Man and
It
stuff.
really has nothing to do with the last one, other than the starting of him not really being.
Yeah.
And that everyone knows he's Peter Parker.
Yeah, and I'll just go in and say that, like, they can pretty much do whatever they want, and it's kind of like, I guess I can't fault them too much because it's a viable character in the MCU, but they can do whatever the fuck they want because they have magic now, and it just is like
That's what I hate
it
about
makes
Doctor
things-
Strange.
Yeah,
He just makes nothing feel heavy anymore because he can just do all these crazy things.
yeah, exactly. Like nothing feels like it doesn't feel like there's much weight to anything going on.
No.
So I don't know. Like that's why I love the Sam Raimi ones. Like even I think I would even rather watch the third one than this one. And that's not like saying that it's a better movie or whatever. I just would rather watch that because it's a conclusion to that trilogy, which I like a lot more. And yeah, again, we've just like the writing seems to revolve around wanting to fit these characters into the story, and it just I'm not a fan of the Tom Holland movies. I know people like love them. I think they're all average to slightly above average, and I just don't like the MCU like feeling. Like this feels like every other MCU movie, right? Where even the Amazing Spider-Man, love him or hate him, has like at least it feels a little bit different. Sam Raimi obviously has his own touch, and those feel very much like Sam Raimi movies. So I don't know. I'm just sick of these like superhero movies not being able to like be stylized or anything. Like it's just feels so bland. It's so like it feels like a super long episode of TV. Like I'm just watching this TV series of fucking Marvel. It might as well just be Marvel the TV series, and every episode is like Sherlock, where it's 2 hours long. Yeah, exactly. And like you have to watch all of those to understand what's going on. It's just, I mean, whatever. All the hate aside for like the MCU, these movies in particular, I think they're just like average to slightly above average movies. I mean, they're well made. Like technically, obviously the CG looks good. It's going to look good when you have $200 million budget, but I just don't think the writing is as strong as the earlier films, and like what makes those movies great. And like even the plot synopsis tries to hint at what it really means to be Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man 2 did that 1,000 times better.
Oh yeah.
Like when he has his
Spider-Man
existential
2 I think
crisis,
is
which
like the highest critically rated of all of them.
yeah, probably. They hint at it in this movie too. You know, they even pointed out like what happened in that movie, and it's just I don't know, has more weight to it. Again, these movies feel weightless, where those movies felt like there was actual like stakes.
Oh yeah, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Even like the we'll get into it, but even at like the very last, what ends up happening just felt like so like like that's a huge deal, and it didn't even feel like anything.
Yeah,
I was like, oh well, whatever.
yeah, we can get into spoilers in a little bit, unless you guys don't have anything else to say.
Which
like
I didn't
general
see
thoughts.
the end credit scene either. So
Oh, I don't. Yeah.
Oh, I never stay for them. If
Okay.
if it's important, you put it in the movie. That's what I always say.
Yep. Type in.
It would have been
in
very
YouTube.
bad if the beginning of this movie didn't recap what happened after was it Far From Home? Because the end credit scene in that movie sets up what happens in this movie. And if they didn't put that in, if they just assumed that you watched the post credit scene, I would have been. This movie would have been at least a star lower.
Yeah. For sure.
But yeah, okay. So one other thing that I'll say about all of these Tom Holland movies is they give a lot of screen time to, or they give a lot of agency to MJ and Ned in this, and it feels. It's not that I don't hate their characters, but it feels almost less like a Spider-Man movie and more like them as a trio, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that they shouldn't have any agency or anything to do, but, like, they give them, like, so much responsibility and stuff, and I just don't feel like I feel less chemistry between Zendaya and Tom Holland than Neo and Trinity. All
But
right,
they're actually dating.
well, okay, then that's really bad then because I don't know. I just feel like maybe I haven't watched them back to back, or I need to refresh my memory on the earlier ones. But I don't know. Like Zendaya's acting, especially because she comes up like in the first one, she's like so cold and like just doesn't give him like the time of day, and they're supposed to be like in love, you know. So maybe it's my biasy like shutting that relationship off because I'm not a huge fan of these movies. If I was invested more, then maybe I would feel that. But I don't know, just like that trio too, having so much to do in this.
I think they felt like more like friends.
I agree.
Like
they
kissing
feel
friends.
Yeah, they feel. Oh, them too, friends. Yeah. I mean, I felt like their bond was strong, especially like after a certain scene. Almost said it.
Oh yeah.
A certain scene. It feels like they have a strong bond and that comes through, which is nice. But I don't know. It just feels like he's always so reliant on a lot of other people. And I guess this is early on. This is young Spider-Man. I get all that, blah, blah, blah. But
And I just think that what the other ones do so well is they put like, MJ in like danger. So then he has to like do all this shit to like save her. Whereas this one, it's like they were never really in that much danger.
Well, you don't want the damsel in distress
it's a little bit more
anymore.
cliche, but it works for, that's what comic book movies are. So.
Yeah.
I mean, why not lean into it if it works?
Yeah. I could see that. Yeah, I think they wanted to like either subvert expectations there or like they make her out to be like a badass in her own right in this, like they're like, oh, I don't need to be saved. So anyway, do you have anything else to say? General thoughts?
Mm-mm.
We can get into some spoilers because I have a couple things in that regard. So spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home starting now. If you haven't seen the movie,
You probably have
Fast
seen the
forward.
movie.
check the timestamps. Yeah. Do you want to go right to the end, or I have one thing to say about
Nope,
that
go
one
ahead.
particular scene?
Go ahead.
The death of Aunt May.
Oh,
Did
God.
really
yeah.
like how that was handled. It just seemed, it didn't seem like it was done. I don't know. It just was weird how she was like standing up and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine," and then like
It was really weird. Because, like, the
pretty much
old one,
dying after that.
he gets, like, impaled and stuff. And this, literally, the blade, like, hit her, right?
yeah,
Well,
you
she-
would think so.
But, I mean, it doesn't show it, but you assume she got, like, impaled by this giant.
They didn't show any injuries.
Yeah, I mean.
Even when Spider-Man, even when Tobey Maguire got stabbed, you didn't even see it.
That's a separate discussion.
Oh, you didn't even see like a hole in his, or like you didn't
well,
see any
I
blood or
just
anything.
assumed, it didn't go all the way through, but it would have.
It's a
right?
big, yeah.
Just like this thing would have gone all the way through. But
Well, let's assume she didn't get hit with the blade.
there's no way
it's-
she didn't, though.
Yeah.
like-
It hit her, like,
There's
dead
two
on
huge-
straight.
I don't know. It was just weird how like she like stood up and I was like, oh wait, I thought she died in this scene, and then
I'm like, she
She
got
was
hit
fine.
hard.
Yeah.
Like,
And then
damn.
and then he threw the grenade and it did like nothing.
I didn't get that either. Why didn't the grenade like blow off his face or something?
Yeah, it's not like his like.
I
and
know
then
he's
her-
like somehow strong and resistant, but
Yeah, but if
it
he,
like hit him.
if he can get fucking punched in the face and he bloody
he gets
nose,
cuts
like
and stuff from
Yeah, and
punches.
and
the
that was, like-
grenade's gonna blow off his
and
brain.
those bombs were blowing up cars and stuff.
But it didn't even hurt her either. Like he didn't like knock it out of the way.
yeah,
Like,
I was
barely
really
tapped
confused
it.
by that too. I was really confused by that, but I'm like, whatever. It's a small thing. I don't care.
Yeah, well, still, it's just things like that I don't know. There's like a bunch of those. Like I guess you could say nitpicks if you want.
I
that
definitely
build
have
up over
a
time.
nitpick that I want to bring up. Why is every other character different name? Like MJ was a different MJ, and Gwen was in the second one. Was his love? Why is Jonah Jameson the same guy in all three of them? In all of them?
Yeah.
I mean, the
it's
news
Yeah, like
Because
everyone was
it's
different.
Simmons,
casting
and he's
and
amazing.
money. Yeah, exactly. He was so good that they have to have him back as the same, and yeah.
But it,
Well, Gwen is a completely different character.
I know, but
yeah, Spider Gwen.
right, I know that, but still, it's like, It was Mary Jane. They made it a conscious effort to be like, this is MJ2 but different name,
Mm.
and then
Same,
but
but different.
I don't know. Jonah Jameson was the exact same, and I guess in
That
all.
did throw me off a little bit too. But
It's a nitpick, but I guess maybe I don't know.
Well, since we already said it, let's just touch on the end real quick. Toby, like the ending, that final like scene with. First off, why wasn't Green Goblin there with the rest of the villains? Like that didn't make any sense. Aren't they after the same goals?
Yeah.
So why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't
I
he
don't know.
join
He
in the
always
fight to help
seems
them?
separate. Yeah, kind of. I don't know.
His ultimate demise is the same as theirs. If he gets sent back, he's gonna die. So they have the same goals. Why wouldn't he go and help them fight all at the same time? It makes no sense.
I don't know.
Just so that we can take out the lesser villains first, and then Green Goblin is the final boss. Even though it's like, well, he would be there with them. Dumb. Like, just writing to, make sure we get what we want out of this.
Well, yeah.
Doesn't have to make sense.
Then Doc came in at a perfect timing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, it's just they obviously give like it's gross that you can see it come through in the script that we know Green Goblin and we know Doc Ock are like the most popular villains, so we're gonna give them like the most to do and like all of this. When in reality, like if they're all villains and they all are on a level playing field, that they all would have the same. They all should be the same, right?
Yeah, I feel like this.
Like you can just feel like them writing like, this is what the fans want. Yeah, let's put this in here.
They'll love this part.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't feel like they did enough either because they did that and focused so much on them. The characters I knew the least about, I still know nothing about.
Yeah, they
Other than
really
he's fell into,
rely
like,
on you
eel.
doing your homework and like making sure that you've seen the other movies.
Yeah, because they don't flesh them out at all.
Yeah, well, they already were in other movies, but again, that's just the.
But let's say
the
you're
fact
like
that this
watching
movie can't
this.
stand. Yeah, it can't stand on its own. It's true.
Like if you're a kid and you only have ever watched these new ones and you don't want to watch old movies, then
yeah, and it's not so much like other movies can't stand on their own that are in trilogies. That's true, but this is not a part of a trilogy. This is almost 20 years after the first Spider-Man. So it's like it's not even in the same universe. Obviously, this is now they're opening the gate to this multiverse idea, and
they're also literally set up for Miles Morales showing up originally because Jamie Foxx is like, there needs to be a black Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
He's like, he says, I'm sure there's one out of, because he knows about the string theory. He's like, I'm sure there's a black Spider-Man out there. Yeah. Which is, again, so much of just fan service and nods to other characters. Anyway, get back to the end. We're getting off track. Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, the very ending, it's a good moment, what he's trying to do, to stop Tom Holland from killing Green Goblin, right? Because he says, well, no, that was Amazing Spider-Man. Anyway, he knows what it's going to do to him. He knows revenge isn't the way. So he tries to stop him, and he gets stabbed by Green Goblin. And then literally nothing happens from that. He's like, oh, yeah, I'll be fine. And then
he's like, I've been stabbed before.
He's like, I've been stabbed before. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's like, again, zero stakes, zero weight to anything. You can get stabbed. You can get grenades thrown at you. It's just it makes everything so meaningless. I don't get it. Like that would have been an amazing moment if he sacrificed his life for him,
for the future of Spider-Man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
but it's not that way. It's just like that moment has no weight to it or meaning to it now. Like, why is it even there? That's just
nothing.
It was so bad. I hated that. Another. What was I going to say before? Spoiler. I have to think of it.
The scene about
the Zendaya scene,
love
scene.
No,
I thought you were talking about something between the Bond.
Yeah,
no,
he was implying that.
Else. Oh, okay, I know. The scene where they first meet the other Spider-Men was probably the cringiest scene in the whole movie.
The
I
portals.
hated it. Yes, the whole scene in Ned's house, I hated that.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
It was really bad.
Like, I get that some people think these are funny. There's like some I guess I would chuckle at some couple things, but damn, this is trying hard to be funny, and it is not funny at all.
Can you get the cobweb in the corner?
Yeah. And that whole like moment, it's just like so it doesn't feel like it was done in a clever way. It just feels like matter of fact, like, oh, we need them here now. So Ned, who has magic all of a sudden without, they have one line that says, oh man, my grandma
Sometimes
used
my
to say,
fingers tingle.
yeah, grandma used to say I had magic in me, and then now he's fucking Sorcerer Supreme. But anyway, and I get that they're setting him up for something in the future.
Does he have any ties to that one guy?
Well, he's
Wong or
supposed to
whatever?
be in the comics. From what I've heard, he is actually a supervillain, or he becomes a supervillain, which is why they have the line in here.
Promise me
I
you won't
promise you I
become.
won't become a supervillain. Anyway, but just that whole scene, like the comedy in it, just like the convenience of them like coming through and Ned opening the portals for them, it did not work for me at all. I hated that scene.
I know. Why couldn't, if they were going to be like super cliche and everything, why didn't they do it where he's fighting or something, and then the other other ones comes in and like starts fighting with him or something, and you're like,
Yeah.
who's this? He's like, Alex, just let's
Yeah.
work together now. And then afterwards they're like, so who are you?
Yeah,
That would have worked
I
fine.
already like that way more.
yeah.
Yeah, why would why
They
would the
could have
villains?
seen in the hospital where they started fighting, and then all of a sudden
Right.
he comes to help them.
but only
Yeah,
the
because
vil-
they don't
saves
ever
them.
show how the villains come through. They just show them they're already there.
yeah, and then why wouldn't Spider-Man be like? Why wouldn't they come too if they
Yeah.
know that they're got like?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was
Well,
very
they
messy.
have lines in there. It's like, oh, I've been looking for this
Yeah,
the
they
whole
knew-
time. I've been searching. It's like, all right, you're Spider-Man. I don't know. It seems
You're
like he
just-
would have been able to.
Can your spider
Find him.
senses fucking tingle together?
Yeah, if he's looking in one specific city, you would just go to wherever,
Yeah,
go to the bridge scene where there's a fucking Doc Ock is destroying it.
Watch news.
Yeah.
Just look at the news for a second.
what? Looking on TikTok.
Oh, look, there it is.
Yeah, I hated that scene, and that was when it really started to. I do like some of the stuff where they're together. To Josh's point, but again, really, really swinging hard for the fences with the comedy. Some of that stuff works. Some of it, again, is just cringy or way too fan servicey, and yeah, not my bag.
No,
Any other spoilers?
no,
Anything else to say at all?
no, not really.
I mean, it was exactly what I expected it to be.
I
And
kind of expected more based off the hype, to be honest.
Really?
I don't know.
I did,
I didn't like I didn't love the first two, but everyone was talking so highly of this. I had my doubts and my reservations for sure, but I don't know. I expected a little bit more.
I remember liking the first one a lot, quite a bit. Second one, which I just watched, it's fine. And then this one was about
Why are they all
People
about
like the
home?
second one more. I don't know how.
than the first one?
People like Far From Home more than Homecoming.
Hmm.
I thought Homecoming was better.
Me too.
Why are they all home related?
I don't know.
Trilogy credit. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home.
And next is going to be like Home Sweet Home or something.
Maybe.
Home
I
Sweet
don't know.
Home.
I think they're doing more with Tom Holland, but I don't know if they're going to keep that going or not.
The fourth one is Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spider-Man fights incest. All right. Well, if we are tapped out, then let's give our ratings out of 5. Jacob?
I give it a 3.
I'm also giving it a 3.
Well, I'm also giving it a 3. All right, that wraps that up. Let's move on to Nano Reviews. What do you guys got?
We need like a
I have
musical jingle for that. Nano Review.
6.
Sure.
I have 6, but a couple rewatches. So
I've got a
6.
few. You have 6?
No, I have 1.
Oh, you have 1? Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you start then, Josh?
okay, I watched The Night House, David Bruckner film. Who I liked The Ritual quite a bit. That he did the Netflix original The Ritual, liked that quite a bit. So
That was pretty good.
wanted to watch this. I wanted to watch this in theater. It came out I think in August. Just didn't end up getting around to it. So then I saw that it was, they have it on Prime or whatever. So decided to rent it, and it was actually really good. I really liked it. And a very interesting take on on horror, I guess you could say. It kind of reminded me of like Invisible Man meets like the Babadook, like in terms of like theme, like thematically.
You are not moving my needle with those
Well, yeah, I
mentioning
know.
those two movies.
But I think that I think that
those are
you
the worst movies you could mention.
I know, but I
Get me
think that you would
interested.
like this one more just because.
Well, I do like The Ritual, so
Yeah, and I think that this one, I think that the reason you didn't like Invisible Man, you would like it the way that they did this one, and I think that the reason why you didn't like Babadook, you would like the way that they did in this one instead.
okay.
So I think that you would prefer this better, like, you know, between the two or separately, other than the two of them. So, but yeah, it honestly like took me for kind of a loop. Like I didn't really.
Oh, I know this one. Yeah.
Didn't really realize. I don't know anything about it really. I mean, I know that she was like a widow, and that was pretty much like it. Basically, you're with her trying to figure out, you know, what actually happened to her husband, because I don't know if it says in the synopsis or not. I don't want to.
I don't think
It just
it does.
says recently deceased husband's disturbing secrets.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not going to tell you then how he dies. But yeah, very, 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 like a lot better than I thought. And then Rebecca Hall, she was getting a lot of praise for this movie, and I think it's very justified because she does do an extremely good job kind of showing her, like, being her character, and, you know, really weaving in between, like, you know, the emotions that, you know, a widow or recently widowed you know, person would have to go through, you know, anger, upset, you know, kind of
The stages.
the stages, but weaving in throughout it. But this also has like an element of like supernatural, or, you know, it could lead you to think it was supernatural. It you know, goes on a line that's pretty cool, and I don't know if you guys plan on watching it anytime soon, but
Probably not before the top 10, but
if
in the
it's-
future maybe.
yeah, it's like it was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Just obviously some of the stuff didn't work for me as much, so I didn't, you know, it wasn't outstanding by any means, but I do like David Bruckner. Like I said, I did like Ritual quite a bit. I like this one, so I'm interested to see what, you know, he does next. I think he could be, you know, do great things in the horror genre. So I'm excited for what he has, and yeah. So I ended up giving it a 4-star.
Very cool. Okay, I'll start from. Well, actually, you know what? I don't know if I should talk about this now. It's gonna be. I'm talking about it during the top 10 anyway.
Ooh, spoilers.
Okay, things that aren't in the top 10, I'll talk about. I rewatched A Clockwork Orange. It's been a long, long time since I've seen it. Didn't do that much for me this time. I don't know if I'm missing something. So it's anybody that hasn't seen it, it's set in this unknown time, but you could assume it's the future, and it's commenting a lot on the world, and it's pretty interesting since it came out in 1971, but there's criminal justice and prison reform, allegories. There's just this like kind of like comment on like art, and, you know, that's, I guess, a lot of Kubrick's movies, you know, what is art and what it means. But it's just hard to kind of empathize with the main character. Like he goes through this experiment of reform that like kind of brainwashes him. So like he has to be good, or else he'll like get sick to a point where he can't, you know, move or do anything else. So like it's kind of like forced reform, but then he goes back out into the real world, and like kind of all these people that know who he was take like revenge and stuff. And that would be kind of more interesting as a commentary on like prison life, like people getting out of prison and not getting fair opportunities in the world, and they kind of still get treated like shit even though they went through the reform process, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not as, I just don't get what you're supposed to get from that, because he is such a bad person and he didn't go through the, I guess, necessary steps. So I don't know, maybe I'm missing the point on that, maybe it's going over my head, but I didn't like it as much as my memory held up. It's still very interesting and obviously well shot, and the use of music in this movie is amazing. It's Kubrick, so he uses a lot of classical music, and there's a lot of interesting things going on. I'll probably need to rewatch it in another 2 or 3 years, but super violent, disturbing scenes of rape and things like that. So it's definitely extreme, but if you can stomach it, then it's definitely worth a watch still. And there is one scene where him and his gang members are driving in a car that's absolutely disgusting. It's a bad green screen.
Oh god.
Didn't like the look of it. I would expect Kubrick to figure out a way around that because he's such a perfectionist, but it doesn't look good.
Why? Because it took like a month to make that one scene in 2001.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, you just, from his reputation, you just expect him to not settle for that kind of aesthetic, that look.
Because he would know it doesn't look good.
Yeah, exactly. Again, could be going over my head. I don't know. But I still liked it, and it's still worth seeing for just everything going on in it alone. But I settled on a 3.5 for now. We'll see what happens.
Light,
in the
solid, heavy?
Solid 3.5.
Solid.
Jacob, you've never seen this? I see it's in your want to watch.
No, I haven't.
It's on HBO Max. Check it out.
I do have that.
All right. Josh, you want to go again? And then Jacob can do his.
Sure.
And I'll go.
Let's see. Rewatched a movie known as, that we all have seen back in middle school. Osmosis Jones.
Oh yeah, I saw you watch that.
I have no idea what made me watch this. But
I know what it was.
I have an idea.
You are high as a fucking kite.
I might have been. Maybe a little bit. But I mean, I remember like the memes about like the only person that can get us out of COVID is going to be, and they would show Osmosis Jones. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Somehow it came up, saw that it was on Netflix. So I put it on, and I mean, we loved it as kids. Like we watched that like decent amount of
I've
times.
seen it
Like
many times.
probably the last time I seen it would have been like middle school, maybe early high school. That last time, but it holds up, and obviously you're gonna get more of the jokes the older you get. So there was a lot of other jokes that that I never noticed the first time, and like literally everything in this movie is obviously related to human anatomy. So even like random signs on the wall that, or like random like street signs, or everything that you can see that's like that you can read has a reference to a body part. So I thought it's really clever, and it's like even to this day, like for the longest time you take medicine, and like I would think like what is you just think of that
I
stuff.
remember I used to imagine it being like that guy.
Exactly, Drix.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did
it's
imagine it like
and
that.
And the animation's really good in this. That holds up really well. I think the animation's still pretty good. Some 3D stuff is in it that's pretty bad, obviously. But this movie, I don't even know how old it is now. Quite old, but holds up.
2001.
Yeah, so 20 years old. So yeah, that's, like I said, some of the 3D elements are like the CG is pretty bad, but the drawings are still good, and Chris Rock does a great job as Osmosis Jones, and the characters between the good cop, bad cop, and Drix is funny as hell in it too, like just because of his like he's super sterile. His comedy is super sterile, but it's it's just funny how they work off each other. So liked it. Still had the same charm that I had before. Yeah, I liked it. So I gave it, that is another 4-star.
I liked it.
I liked it.
Jacob?
I watched Tick Tick Boom.
Finally. And?
Has it been out that long? No, I really liked it.
You loved it? You really liked it?
On the edge. I think it could go up for me. I think this is one I would watch again.
Love to hear it.
The music, very good, well written. And was this music original for this movie, or was this music from Tick Tick Boom?
I mean,
Right, because they made, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Whatever, it was well done. And I especially love the last song.
Well, you can see who has credit for the music. If
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
that's
Lin-Manuel Miranda, or go ahead, I'll look it up while you.
Yeah, I especially love the last song, and it did give me the feels pretty good.
I told you.
I think this hits harder too, being 29 and going to 30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very relevant to us right now. And just like, even though people in their 30s, obviously they're like 30's nothing, it's just arbitrary, but people who are turning 30, it seems like such a big milestone. And I was trying to reflect on that, and this, especially after watching this, what it means to be turning 30. I mean, 20s were a crazy time for me.
Mm-hmm.
I went through all my pharmacy school. I started my career, all my travels that, like, from the first travel, literally I've been on a plane till now, has all been in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so much of my experience, like, my whole life feels like it was in my 20s, and now it's 30s, and now it's like I started climbing, it's something I just started doing. And before, when you start something, you always think, oh, I could become one of the best at this,
Mm-hmm.
Now you start, if you want to start a new thing, it's like, obviously I'm already past my prime. Like, I'm past that peak. I'm never going to be exceptional at this. So I felt a lot of that with what it's talking about in this film. It's just coming in terms that you're past that prime, you're past that, you're still young, you still can, do stuff, and you have a lot of life left, but you're past all of that, It's like you can see the horizon, I guess.
No way. Not at 30.
I don't know.
If you
It just
die at 60, maybe.
It's really hard to, like, reflect on, like, what it really means. It's one more year. It's nothing. It's just one more decade.
But it's saying, okay, so you haven't seen Tick Tick Boom. So what it's saying is that for a creative and for, like, an artist,
Okay.
that's more of, like, you need to be, like, you need to make something by a certain point, or else you're kind of going to be lost
like,
in the shuffle.
Think about it like
Athletes.
retirement. Like, now I'm
same
a
with an athlete,
pharmacist and stuff. I'm saving for retirement. I'm doing all that. Like, I'm in the right track. But let's say you're in a career with art and you have not made it still, and you're about to turn 30. Like, you really need to start thinking, am I going to stick with this now? I don't have time to. Once you're 30, you already need to be established, really.
Yeah, when you
And-
make that connection, it makes sense. But when you didn't make that connection, so I'm like, turning 30 is not seeing the horizon. Like, it's not like you're.
I mean,
that
the
30.
horizon, like, yeah,
But yeah, it's creatively.
you
Absolutely,
can't
yes.
like just, you have to, like, be more stable in life by 30, because
Mhm.
you don't have as much time to just keep trying new things and do things. So he had to make the decision, like, does he want to keep trying in this art, his art,
Yeah.
or does he want to go into, like, really being more stable in life and settling down with the girl he's with, or getting a stable job, starting a career. It's not, once you hit 30, it's like, should I go back to school? Should I do this? Because now if you go back to school, you could be almost 40 by the time you get to something that would give you a career. It's very different from in your 20s. So, yeah. And there's just, I mean, it juggles so many things. It's a heavy movie. It's definitely not
Mhm.
one that's just,
I mean, during the time it's set in, like the 90s, everything that it's dealing with, just the struggling artist, which has been done so many times, but
Right.
it really makes you feel it in this. I feel like you feel it more, and then his relationships, his personal the relationship with his girlfriend and his friends, literally dying.
How did it
It's pretty
feel?
powerful.
How did it feel in terms of, like, because it's obviously a play? Did it feel like that?
No.
Like we normally have, like,
No,
no, not at all.
reservations about,
Mm-mm.
cool.
that's one of my, like, biggest
yeah,
criticisms
yeah.
of those movies, and I felt like it
felt
felt
like a
more.
movie.
Yeah, it felt more in the realm of La La Land than it was like
Mm-hmm.
whatever, West Side Story or whatever.
So there is no writing credits. It's Jonathan Larson's.
It
so
is.
it is.
Who
All the
originally-
songs were written by
Originally.
Jonathan
Man,
Larson.
I want to see his.
He's dead.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
You would find that out in the movie.
Yeah, it literally the beginning of the movie
He died like 15 years or 25 years ago.
Yeah.
In 96 or something.
And he never even saw himself become successful.
He never saw.
Is
he
this
died,
about him?
You know what's
Yeah.
crazy?
Okay.
Did they say that in the movie?
Yeah.
That he died the opening night of Rent. He never even.
I
got
don't
to
know
see
if they said
Oh,
that. They did say that he never got to see
never
how
got to see it.
successful
He
he
died
actually became.
the opening night of Rent.
Yeah, and then Rent ended up going for 12 years
Yeah.
on Broadway.
One of the most successful Broadway musicals.
I
Like
think
he
that's-
only ever got to see his failures.
Yeah,
I think Steven's favorite play is Rent.
yeah.
Yeah,
You put it on when he's together.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
check it out.
so topical too. The
Mhm.
stuff he's talking about. My God, it's so heavy. He
Ron
was a
Howard
genius.
Ron Howard had his hands on this too.
Yeah,
As what?
A producer.
Oh, well,
yeah.
He still has his hands.
He was clearly
Which
a
is weird.
genius writer,
yeah.
but yeah, it's just I don't know if it hits so hard because I'm 29 going on 30 and I just can empathize.
I mean, I know
with it.
people that are older that liked it just as much. So I
Yeah.
think it's kind of. I guess if you're a creative or like an artistic person, then it's it's something that, or even like Josh had an athlete, like anything that has like a time. Well, I guess your life has a time limit, but like everything that has that, like,
It's weighted differently.
yeah, that overbearing
like your only
feeling of like
aging is
you
just
have to get
getting
this
worse
done
at
by this
everything.
time.
Basically, like
Yeah.
you're past your peak, and you'll never be able to get as good as you could have gotten if you started earlier. Now
Mhm.
you can get new skills and stuff, but you'll never be able to get it to the level you could have
And
before.
getting to 30 is realizing that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly realize that too.
That's
It's
what I'm
like
saying.
I'm starting something new. I'm like, I have no aspirations of becoming the best, but I remember always starting stuff before. I'm like, I want to be the best. I'm always so
And now we're
competitive.
old.
And now you just realize you're like, I have to come to terms that no, I won't. Like,
Yeah, you come to terms with your own mortality.
you won't.
Yeah, it's true.
And yeah, it's a heavy movie with amazing writing. The songs are incredible. I do want to see Rent, I guess.
I think I've seen
Yeah, I've
that.
never seen the movie.
Yeah.
I think I have.
And this was Lin-Manuel Miranda's first directorial.
Directorial debut, as we talked about.
And he
Jacob
killed
was
it.
on his phone.
I thought he did fucking
Yeah. No.
In the Heights, but no, it's just music
Just-
by him.
I mean, I guess.
I'm glad he
his-
didn't do the music in this though, because I
Yeah.
felt like that might have been too
I'm-
much.
Well, I guess
now I
it
wanna
shows you
watch
how
it.
much he loves,
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
Broadway and such, because he's like on Broadway.
I mean, he
literally
had to
now.
have gotten some type of inspiration from. I mean,
Rent,
these are like
probably.
huge.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Rent's
Jonathan Larson.
like a massive Broadway show. And it's like
so
How
is
old is
Hamilton?
Lin-Manuel Miranda?
he's in his 40s.
40.
I think.
Yeah, he's not very old.
Oh, okay. So he probably
He was born in 80,
probably didn't
1980.
know Jonathan Larson personally then.
so 41.
And he didn't make himself a huge part or singing part in this. He was just in the
Yes,
background
us-
for one scene.
yeah, he was in it for a split second, which was nice. I'm
So-
like, thank
yeah.
God.
which is fine. A lot of directors
I
do
read
that. Peter
yeah.
Jackson does that.
yeah.
I read somebody like a review on this movie, and they say, just goes to show that Lin-Manuel should not be in front of a camera, should be behind it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
but
true.
he did great. I mean, obviously he directs, right? He directs a musical,
Mhm.
but this is his first time doing a film, and I thought he nailed it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what he would do next.
Yeah, I loved how the diner scene also kind of breaks out into like, it's just a scene about, it's just a song about just Sunday morning, like how hectic it is on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But that's like the most over the top Broadway scene, like
Mhm.
singing part.
Oh yeah, because it
Whereas, like,
breaks
all-
down the side
yeah,
of the
yeah,
building
exactly.
and
Like,
such. Yeah.
It's like the most showy song, but it's kind of like the least important song in a way. I thought that was like ironically funny, but
Yeah, he should now. I feel like he should have directed his
In the Heights.
in the Heights because I think he would have done a better job.
probably
I mean, a lot of people like that movie.
he was probably working
I
on,
didn't hate it
Tick, Tick,
either.
Boom.
No, I meant like just critically and everything.
Yeah, but I think this probably is higher.
I don't know.
I thought this was definitely
This is gonna
better
end.
done.
This is something that would end up on like top 10s of the year. Not In the Heights is not. In the Heights is more of like I feel like a typical musical like crowd pleaser. This is, I mean, it's still kind of typical, but not really.
it's technically just really well done.
It's technically better than.
and it's the best thing
in
I've
Nights.
seen Andrew Garfield in.
Yeah, is one
Yeah,
of
I
his
heard
best
he never sang.
performances.
He actually sang.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
His singing is really good.
And he never sang before. Like I think he got training for this movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit less critically.
Nah, they're
No
wrong.
way.
The whole 10 whole points.
Oh my god, they're fucked.
I don't understand that at all.
74 and 84.
Get real.
Fucking
Yeah,
critics.
because I thought the music
Letterboxd
was
is higher
just
for this.
outstanding.
Yeah, exactly. They know what's up. Okay, I'm just gonna. I have one more then, and I'll save my other one for next week. I watched The Killing of Two Lovers. This is a little film by Robert
Downey Jr.
Makian. Robert Makian. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, super small film. Josh might be interested.
I'm in. I heard budget. I heard small and budget.
84 minutes, tiny budget.
I'm locked in.
Yeah. I believe it was released by Neon. But anyway, this is a small drama about a young couple going through. Well, I don't know how young they are actually. They have a teenage daughter. But anyway, they're going through separation. They're separated. He lives with his dad. She got the house and the kids, and they're trying to work through this marital problem. And she starts seeing somebody else, and he starts having some very aggressive feelings about this. And that's pretty much all it is. It takes place, I want to say, over the course of maybe a week or two. But it's just this drama about, them trying to work through this and figure it out, and a super rural Utah town where they literally live 100 yards away from each other. So that complicates things a little bit more because he can see who's coming and going from the house. He could see, he can stop over in the middle of the night and he knocks on his, kids' windows and is saying hello to them. And then, that causes problems and things. It's, I really, really, really liked it. The first half, there's one scene where I feel like it kind of changes the authenticity of it. It felt so real and authentic for the first half. And then there's this scene where it kind of changes things and it just goes in a more written direction rather than a more authentic direction. And I was really feeling like, this is how it actually would be between this couple and this relationship and stuff. And then it kind of takes a turn. It's still really good, but it just wasn't as amazing as I wanted it to be. It's in a interesting aspect ratio. It's I believe 4:3, so it's almost a square. A ton of fixed camera shots. There's almost no movement to the camera in this, so a lot of scenes will be fixed from one shot, and it just holds that for a long time. There's barely any cuts in the movie. If a scene starts from a wide zoom out, then it'll slowly pan in.
Love it.
But barely any movement at all. There's some extreme close-up shots that are pretty interesting that just gets really in their faces, and if they're having a conversation, it'll go back and forth. So just how it was shot was pretty interesting, and the look of it was pretty interesting. I just wish that it would have stuck with that authenticity a little bit more, or gone in the direction. Well, maybe I don't know if it would have gone in the direction you think it's going to. That might have been too cliche. But the ending is pretty interesting, and I'll leave it at that. But liked it a lot. Didn't love it. I gave it a 3.5. I would say check it out. It's on Hulu, and it's less than an hour and a half. So if you're looking for a short time commitment, then this is a good movie.
Yep, and it's a 137 to 1. So basically
137. Yeah.
These next three, I'm gonna blaze through them because they're pretty recent. I've talked about them in depth.
One movie, one of our most recurring movies on the podcast.
Yeah,
that we've talked about.
Upgrade?
Nope.
No.
Which
it's probably second place Upgrade.
Yeah. The Vast of Night. Rewatched that again.
Oh, nice.
Liked it even more again.
Even more again?
This is even more.
So you liked it even more?
Again.
Again.
So I think this is my fourth watch of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, man. It's I want to give it a 5-star so bad, and I just need to pull the trigger, I think, because it's every time I watch it, I find something new I like about it. And like I said, I've gone in depth of it before, in the show, but just the way that he writes and the atmosphere that is created in this little, like, this one night. It's literally just, in one night, and the atmosphere that's created, the world that's created in this little town. The shots are super cool, and the dialogue. I love how he wrote the dialogue to perfectly encapsulate the 50s, 60s, during the space age, and it's just a really, really good movie. And the way it was shot is also very, very good. I like it a lot. It has the cool, like, go-kart scene where it's a pretty long continuous scene. There's a lot of, actually, I didn't notice them before, but this movie has a lot of still shots, like a lot of them. Like Kyle was saying, like, this one has a lot of no movement shots as well, where the camera is literally static and it's just they're talking, and so I just love. I don't know, man. It just gives me. There's a certain movies, where you watch it and you're like, it puts you in this certain headspace, and it just makes you feel a certain way, no matter how many times you watch it. It just puts you there, and I think of the time because Kyle and I watched it the first time, and I just remember that night specifically watching it. And like every time I watch it now, I just think of that night, like how everything in that how everything when we were watching it was like, it just brings back that nostalgia, and it's, and then that helps on top of, obviously, the movie itself is extremely well done, I think. And I don't know, this dude has, like I said, he has no other credits, nothing. I don't know if this guy just came and did one and like never gonna do another movie. It's like, but
wait, wasn't it his first?
Yeah, it's first only anything.
Well, yeah, but give him.
Yeah,
you got to give him time.
But even like sometimes you'll look at writing credits and they'll say like working on something, and you don't see anything. And this movie, I mean, it came out. It's going on 3 years now.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Hey, I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
it's so small. It takes a long time.
I was gonna say, yeah. What was the budget on this movie again?
Oh, micro.
Yeah.
They had to film it like in 8
like
days.
a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had to do it only at night, and they had to recreate the entire city every time.
Yeah.
So a lot of cool stuff, but yep, gave that one. It's still 4.5. Probably should be a 5, but one more watch and it'll get there.
Force feed.
Yep, I'm gonna force it to a 5. Watched Role Models. Hadn't seen that in forever.
Role Models.
Yeah, my roommate Steven wanted to watch it, so we put it on and I watched it. I mean, it's it is what it is.
It's very 2000 to 2010, that whole decade of comedy.
Oh,
yeah. It's very much that decade of comedy.
Yep, and it's Paul Rudd, it's Sean William Scott. You know what you're gonna get with it. McLovin. You got that Jane Lynch is in it. And her character is so funny. Like the amount of times where she goes, "I could just be doing cocaine right now." Like she just wants to do cocaine so bad. Like still, like she's just wants it so bad, and anytime she can bring up drugs, she does. And the whole LARPing scene is pretty cool, like pretty funny too. So just I probably laughed a decent amount actually in this movie, more than I thought I would. But obviously that's going to happen when you haven't seen a movie in 5-6 plus years. Obviously we're older now, so and I'm also a pretty big fan of Paul Rudd. I think he's pretty funny.
Oh yeah, you fucking love Paul Rudd.
I think he's hilarious.
That whatever movie.
Wanderlust.
Yeah, that Wanderlust.
While putting your voyage.
Right up in your voyage.
Yeah, so I gave that a 3.5. Rewatched Super Dark Times again. Loved it just as much. Yeah, I talked about that recently, and I've talked about it twice now because with Travis. So I don't have to go over that one again, but yep, still love it. Still like the writing. I like the direction. I like the shots, everything. That's another movie that puts me in a certain headspace and a certain feeling. And it's like an adult. It's like a rated R fucking Stand By Me. So like that one a lot, and that's still a 5-banger for me. So
I'm gonna come.
Gross.
You didn't hate it, Kyle. You give it 3.
Yeah, not anywhere near 5. Is that it? You got another one?
Nope. That's or yeah. I mean, I
No?
watched Footloose again, but
Oh, okay. You watch Footloose every week, so
Yeah.
what else? What else is there to
You
say?
could talk about that every week.
yep.
All right, that does it for Nano Reviews. So next week is the big one.
Wait, I thought you watched one more.
He
I do, I'm
did.
saving
That's
it for
he
next
said top 10.
Oh,
That's the
I was
spoil-
gonna say because I want to hear about that. Well, wait, I can wait.
we'll talk
Apparently-
about it next week.
Maybe I need to watch and be the mediator between the two.
No,
If
I'm not-
anybody follows us on Instagram, the latest story of Jacob, that is basically what he was doing during the last duel. Because there's
The
no
whole time.
fucking way that it's a 3 or whatever he gave
3.5.
it.
No, you give it
Oh.
a 3.
Yeah, I give it
Mhm.
3. Oh,
Or there's no way it's boring, as Jacob said.
it was boring.
No. Anyway, that's spoiler alert for next week. Last duel's obviously going to be in the top 10.
I didn't say it. You just said it.
I know. Well, we were talking about it. So next week is the big one. It is the top 10 movies of 2021. We are also probably going to talk Macbeth. We'll probably do that first, just in case it sneaks into any of our top 10s. We'll try to make it a shorter review because it's going to be a long episode. And I didn't talk to you guys about this before, but I think we cannot not downplay the suds in Suds and Cinema. We're also going to do a top 10 beers of 2021 next week. And that is 10 beers that we have done on the show specifically.
Okay.
So our 10 favorite beers of the year that we did on the show, we're going to count those down. That'll be pretty quick. Then we'll get into the top 10 movies and go over those. So that is coming up next week. If you want to send us a question or comment, you can email us at sudsandcinemapodcast@gmail.com. I am on Letterboxd and Untapped at the KG Project.
I am on both of those as JSAL517. That's JSAL517.
And I'm on both platforms at Josh_Saldana.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Cheers, guys.